Good afternoon. I'm Melissa Pierce with Comcast, and on behalf of Comcast, we're excited to partner with the C-SPAN Campaign 2016 bus. A special thanks to Burlington High School for hosting this stop of the bus. And thank you to Ann Jordan from the Burlington School Board for joining us today. Additionally, thank you to Regional Educational Television Network for taping today's event. RETN provides educational access programming for cable subscribers in the greater Burlington area on Channel 16. There's a lot of fascinating history here in Vermont, and with the coming election season, local citizens and students can learn about C-SPAN's unique public affairs initiatives and how its resources can be used to enhance learning. We're also fortunate that during stops in Montpelier, Burlington, South Burlington, and Rutland, the C-SPAN bus is teaming up with us to help bridge the digital divide by getting the word out about Comcast's Internet Essentials program, which offers affordable, high-speed internet service at home for low-income families for $9.95 a month plus taxes, the option to purchase an internet-ready computer for $149.99 plus tax, and multiple options to access free digital literacy training in print, online, and in person. Recently, we announced that more than 500,000 families, or 2 million low-income Americans, have crossed the digital divide and now have internet at home thanks to Internet Essentials. In addition, we are now offering subscribers a Wi-Fi router at no extra charge and are doubling speeds to up to 10 megabytes per second downstream, which is enough to power multiple devices simultaneously. Households are eligible to participate in the Internet Essentials program if they are located where Comcast offers internet service, have at least one child eligible to participate in the National School Lunch Program, haven't subscribed to Comcast internet service within the last 90 days, and do not have an outstanding Comcast debt that is under 1 year old. The internet is an important resource for schoolwork, job searches, college applications, and more. While Burlington High School students can access the internet at school, it's a game changer to be connected at home where they can get online at their convenience. Families who can't afford home internet are said to be on the wrong side of the digital divide and have more limited opportunities to take online classes, email teachers, and look for jobs. That's why Comcast is committed to playing a role in increasing access and connecting more low-income families to home internet. For more information about the program, please see me. I have flyers and will be available to answer questions. Now I'd like to introduce Sarah Zhao from C-SPAN.
Thank you so much, Melissa, and thank you, Burlington High School, for hosting us to bring the C-SPAN bus to your school. C-SPAN, if you're not familiar, is a television network, and we cover public affairs. Our entire operation is based in Washington, D.C., but the bus is our way to connect with the community. We take the bus around to all different places in the country. We go to high schools, middle schools, universities, and political events and book festivals. And our goal is to tell visitors and students about the resources that C-SPAN has available. Another exciting opportunity we have, especially for high school and middle school students, is Student Cam. And when you guys tour the bus, I'll be able to explain a little bit more about that. But Student Cam is a student documentary contest for students to create a 5 to 7 minute documentary, submit it, use some C-SPAN footage, do some interviews, and you can win $5,000 on that. So it's a really great opportunity for students to participate. And lastly, C-SPAN, we'd like to give a huge thank you to Comcast. C-SPAN is entirely funded by the cable industry, so without the help of Comcast, we wouldn't be able to do what we do and bring the bus around to different places. So, thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Next, I want to introduce Amy Mellencamp, the principal of Burlington High School.
On behalf of all the students and faculty and staff at Burlington High School, I want to thank C-SPAN for coming to BHS and allowing us to be one of the very first stops of this bus as we move towards the presidential year next year. It's an exciting year when the students behind me will be able to vote for the first time, and so we're really excited that they're going to be able to be thinking about how the whole political process works, but also how some of the statistics and how some of the data works, and how the whole election coverage speaks to not only the issues that they feel are important to this world, but how how our community and our society come together around some of the key issues that are facing our country and our global world. So C-SPAN is an opportunity for us to participate in that dialogue, to see some of the latest technology about how this all works, and most importantly, this is going to be the future of our students. So I'm glad that students are front and center right at the beginning of the coverage of this important election. It seemed like it was a couple of years away, but now that I think about it, it's really about 14, 15 months away. So lots of conversation ahead, and I'm appreciative that students and youth are going to be part of that conversation. Thank you very much.
Okay, folks, good afternoon. Thank you for being here. I'm Mr. Perez. I'm an assistant principal here at Burlington High School and a longtime social studies teacher. So this stuff is right in my wheelhouse. I am so excited that you're here, and I'm very excited to see this remarkably, as I mentioned to the BHS Today staff, big bus. It's a remarkable piece of machinery, and well, we'll be able to tour it very soon. But as Dr. Mellencamp was mentioning earlier, we would like to be able to get some student voice involved in all this, and we have a number of questions that we would like to invite students to come on up and think about. First, I want to go ahead and say thank you to these terrific students, but also to advanced placement statistics teacher Marcel Girard. Most of these students that are standing behind me are Mr. Girard's students, and he was very willing to be able to grant them the time during class today to be able to participate in this event. So, Mr. Girard, thank you very much. You should applaud for your teacher. Well, thank you, sir. So there's a few questions that we would like to, of course, ask folks to come on up to the mic and be able to respond to. So I think it would probably be best, we want to make sure we hear from as many people as possible. So I'm going to leave the questions here, but I'm going to introduce them, okay? And we could, generally work from left to right or something along those lines. My left, your right, your left, my right, whatever is going to be most appropriate. So what I would like to do is, as I said, we're going to go ahead and I'll frame the question, and then I'll invite student responses to come on up and tell folks what you think. As Dr. Mellencamp pointed out, for particularly this group here, the vast majority of you are going to be voting in your first presidential election in November of 2016. That is a remarkable achievement for you in your life, and probably the most powerful tool that you have as a citizen of the United States is your ability to be able to vote. Okay, so congratulations on that, and ultimately this is going to be an opportunity for you to start chiming in on a number of issues that are going to be hopefully very important to you as we move forward here. So one of the things that, as we were compiling questions, is to really consider strongly what it means to be a citizen of the United States. And I mentioned a little bit about voting, but what are some ideas that you folks have regarding what do you think it means to you to be a citizen of the United States?
All right, so what I think it means to be a citizen of the United States is to take advantage of all the opportunities that we have as citizens. So like voting is one, and like being able to attend college, community college and stuff like that, and really like be able to experience all the different cultures that are around us. That's like one of the most important things to me, especially, is like as in the United States we have such an awesome like immigrant population from all over the world. We can really experience all these different cultures and stuff. So yeah.
So being a United States citizen means a lot of things. Mainly people think about voting. I'm a citizen so I can vote. And increasingly, especially in Burlington, the issue of resident versus citizen is coming up. If you are not a citizen of the United States, can you vote in local elections because you directly see the impacts of those? So I think that's a very important issue to look on even at a national level, instead of just focusing on Burlington. I know other places, such as New York City, have also been looking at things like this, so I think it's something to consider.
I guess in my eyes, because I was born a U.S. citizen without having the right to vote yet, being 16, for me, being a citizen is being able to work for the betterment of my community and to care about my country. And I really think it's as simple as that. So.
You can do it.
Okay, so I just recently became a citizen of the United States this past May. So it's kind of exciting to me because I've lived here for a couple of years, and I think to be a citizen is just to appreciate kind of where you are and to take advantage of everything that you can do, especially from not being born here. There's a lot of opportunities that you have here that you don't have in other places, and I think appreciating that is kind of important, and it's a very important part of being a citizen of anywhere.
Folks, great job. You do have wonderful voices. I can attest. Many of these have been my students too. They're great kids. So let's hear more from you. So anyway, we're going to move forward, and I want you to think a little bit about responsibilities now. A democracy is not a paint-by-numbers set. You've got to consistently tend it, okay? And generally, as a professor of mine at UVM once said, the people of a democracy get the government that they deserve. They get the government that they deserve. I want you to think a little bit about that, and I want you to think about this. What, in your opinion, are the responsibilities of being able to maintain your democracy and being an active citizen?
Okay, so I think that voting is a really important part of a democracy, obviously, because you need the people's voices. One of the dangers of that, however, is underinformed voters who, in this day and age where it's so much media and so much news is going around and all of the different places that you can get it from tend to be biased, it's hard to get the facts, and then people can misinterpret them and then vote based on an assumption as opposed to a fact, and that can be really dangerous.
So I believe that as a citizen and eventually, hopefully soon, having the ability to vote, I think it's really important to be educated, as Lena said, and to have an informed political opinion that is your own and not merely what other people tell you. And locally, to volunteer for maybe a senator or a representative that you agree with, and to really be involved as possible in the political process.
Another responsibility of being a citizen of the United States is making sure you hold your representatives accountable to what they told you they were going to do in the elections, and making sure the government is doing what they're saying they're doing and the programs are actually helping people and not harming our country.
Probably the most important question. We save it for last, right? You can take a guess, folks, in terms of voter participation rates, from people who are 18 to about 30. Do you think they're high or low? They're extraordinarily low, exactly. And those of you who remember my tirades from AP US History about this very issue, I generally come up with all kinds of reasons why college-age students are not going to vote on November 3rd, or whatever the election day is going to be. So, anyway, but we'll leave that just for us to remember and reflect upon. So anyway, totally fabulous. So I had to throw in my catchphrase. So anyway, because there's a camera and a microphone. So anyway, I want you to think, and I think there'll be a number of you who have some interesting ideas about this, but again, it's family entertainment, so we want to make sure we keep it clean. What are the obstacles that prevent young people from participating more in the democracy and our voting process specifically? Why do you think, in your opinion, that younger people in their later teens and throughout their 20s, they seem to be disenfranchised? They seem to be separated from the voting process. We don't see high rates of people coming to vote. Okay, so as a result of that, I want you to reflect a bit about that. What's in the way? What do you think? Why do you think young people, not much older than you or your exact age, why do you think there tends to be a little bit of perhaps lethargy toward voting and toward thinking about our government?
I think a major problem is the political process that we have now. We have a two-party system, and so there are mostly radicals on either side, and most of us, I think, are moderates who aren't fully happy with either party, and we can't fully side with either one, so we're not happy with either, and so therefore we just don't vote because we feel as if we don't have a representative who fully represents our own views.
I think another obstacle for voters in the college age is relevancy. They don't think that the issues that are talked about in debates in the upcoming election are relevant to them. Maybe they're talking about foreign policy or economics, and they don't see it. But really, there's a lot of power behind the college block of voters, and there are topics such as student loans and debt that are very important.
Yeah, just an extension of what Kai was saying before. There's a lot of issues that affect only the youth, or focus mainly on them, and youth tend to forget that they can make the impact. We have a lot of numbers, so I think it's important to remember that. I think a huge obstacle is pure laziness, actually. Our generation tends to be lazy in some areas, and I think this is one of the ones that we're slacking in. So actually, a few students and I have been working to hopefully register students at this school and make them aware that they can vote, they have a voice, and that they can actually make a difference.
I don't mean to directly refute what Jeffrey was saying, but but I think a lot of people blame the lack of teen voting on apathy, but I really don't see that in the young people that I know. I think the problem is that, I mean, maybe it's ridiculous to blame it on technology, but we're used to instant gratification and seeing our effect on other people immediately and really clearly. And I think that being a small part of a whole and casting one vote in a whole nation, people don't see why that's important when it really is. So.
Well, thank you all. Thank you all for participating today with us, and sorry if I called you out and you weren't prepared, but you guys all had really great perspectives. And so now we're going to be able to tour the C-SPAN bus, and we'll give you some more insight on that. And I do hope that you all think about doing Student Cam, because this year's topic is what issue would you hope that the presidential candidates address in the campaign season, which all of you have talked about things that you are interested in. So you could do that, and you could win some money along the way, but really get a lot of great experience too. So thank you all.